authorities in Maine have been forced to pause issuing any more Section 8 vouchers for the time being. The program helps low-income households to be able to afford rent. Jacob Murphy is in Portland this evening to explain why the sudden halt. Jacob.
Megan, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development controls the Section 8 budgets for different housing authorities, and they're the ones that gave the directive to Portland Housing, as well as Maine Housing and others, to stop handing out the vouchers.
This does happen from time to time, is the feds just say, wait a little while until more vouchers come back and we can reopen the program.
With no new Section 8 vouchers in circulation, an already long wait list might be a bit longer now. We spoke with Maine Housing, which covers all areas in Maine without a housing authority. They explained that budget constraints were the reason they had to stop.
The federal government, while being generous to the state, does not give us enough money to meet the need that exists.
The stop was ordered to several agencies that had already gone over budget this year. According to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, both Maine Housing and Portland Housing had broken theirs by May of this year. But Maine Housing says this isn't necessarily a bad thing.
We're helping the absolute maximum number of people we can help within our current budget. And I'd much rather be in this position than sitting on a lot of unused vouchers and being told, why aren't you renting out more people? So I think this is probably one of the best arguments we can make to the federal government for additional funding.
In the meantime, people that already have vouchers can use them to look for eligible apartments. But even that process is difficult with the current housing market.
The biggest issue we're facing right now is that just there aren't enough apartments. And you can hear that from a voucher holder. You can hear that from a person buying a high rent or trying to find a higher rent apartment at all levels, trying to find a first home. So we're really working a lot on the issue of supply, trying to build more affordable housing around the state, trying to make more available.
As for when we can expect those vouchers to go back into circulation, Maine Housing says for them, they need to get some of those vouchers back and develop a buffer. They expect to get the green light sometime before next year. Live in Portland, I'm Jacob Murphy for Maine's Total Coverage.
So Maine is having problems with regard to HUD saying that they're not going to give any more money for Section 8. It's just a hold. It's just a temporary hold. You never know if they're going to change their mind and decide that they want to go ahead and give more money for low-income Americans. I'm just going to say low-income Americans because we already know by what we've been watching, what we have seen, that there's everything in the world for migrants. Now, the point of this video is there's several. One, is to show, as always, is that the government ain't here to help you. Two, waiting around for Section 8 probably isn't the best idea, no matter how many times I say it. However, no one wants to listen. Continue to wait around for the government to take care of you, and you'll see how that works out. And then three, why is it that right daggone now, while Biden, Kamala Harris is in power, that they're not doing anything to help you? Because you know somehow, some way, this will be Donald Trump's fault.
Because Trump bad. Trump bad.
The region, the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority, is facing a funding gap now. In some cases, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is pausing housing choice vouchers.
Now, that program right now serves more than 6,000 families in Hamilton County. And as WCPO 9 News reporter Jay Shakur found, it's a move that low-income renters say is frustrating.
The Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority is facing a budget shortfall. The gap could limit availability of housing choice vouchers, also known as Section 8. The possible cutbacks disheartening to this current Villages at Roe Hill tenant.
I haven't heard anything back, no letters, no phone calls. And it's mothers out here, such as myself, just looking forward to that.
This mother says she's been on CMHS's waiting list for 2 years now and is now even more unsure about her options of leaving a property she says is unsafe and unkept. So we reached out to the Housing Authority. We wanted to know if CMHA knew about the budget shortfall. How exactly will it impact those who currently receive Section 8 here in Cincinnati, and what the alternative options are for low-income renters still waiting? They weren't available for an interview Friday, but a spokesperson tells me that despite possible cutbacks, the organization partners with over 5,000 landlords that accept these vouchers.
but I do know from my experience that I get calls, 1 to 5 calls a day.
One local realtor says there are now more renters looking for different options.
You know, I've had people cry on the phone to me and say they're going to be homeless because they can't find a place. They've lived in properties that are being sold now because it's a seller's market.
Chanel Gentry recommends looking beyond CMHA at other alternative subsidized housing programs, like the Excel program or the Greater Cincinnati Foundation. You can also bring your questions to a licensed realtor or loan officer.
CMHA need to step their game up. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like CMHA care.
In the West End, Jay Shakur, WCPO 9 News.
So why is it that Cam, who's promising you 25,000, 9,000, 6,000, child, all these thousands, isn't doing anything now? She gonna build all these houses, all this housing for low-income individuals. And when do y'all think that's gonna happen? How soon do you think that's going to happen? All of the, we gotta vote for her, we not going back, blah, 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 blah. When you watch that video of Anton speaking to his mother and you hear the fact that she's basically saying that she has conservative values, but she has never and will never vote for a Republican. And again, this is not me trying to do anything with regard to Donald Trump. I'm just talking in general right now. And Black people do this. You don't even listen to what it is that you are saying. You go to church every daggone Sunday, possibly Bible study on Wednesdays, and then you come out of there and then you support all these things that go against exactly what you was in that church speaking about, what your preacher be talking about. Shout out to Bishop Wooden, who has the courage to say we're not going to change because of what the outside world is doing. We're going to go by the principles of the Bible. That's what I'm teaching. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm doing. Y'all will get all riled up and enrolled into things because you're all emotional at the time and you won't take a step back to see what the hell it is that your interests are and what's good for you. Continuing to wait around for the government to help you, to pick your name out of a hat to say you're the next contestant on, bring your ass on up here, we got you. That just isn't how it works. If you're not going to put work into your life, or you're going to do things that are going to make your life harder for you and yours, that's your fault. That's your problem. That's not the government. There's opportunities that are out there that people will not go and look into. So when you hear Kamala saying what she's going to do and what she's going to offer, which is really nothing at the end of the day, what is the point of saying that she's going to give you housing in order to buy a home? You don't know what to do with the money that you have already. So what good is that going to do you? If people are not going to look into changing their mindset on how they live in their lives, no amount of money that she gives you is going to make a difference. And like I said before, it's bad when Trump allegedly gives you 1,200, but when Kamala promises you 25,000, then that's good. Child, please. It's going to be what it's going to be. That's it. That's all. Like this daggone video. Make sure you comment, subscribe if you are new. I'll see you all in the next one.
We do not care